guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm your host Soumya, and on this channel we discuss everything personal growth, spirituality and mental health. I know it's been a while since I posted my last video, almost 2 months, but this time I'm not gonna feel guilty and apologize for the break. You know why? Because that break taught me something. The power of persistence. And why sometimes the most persistent thing you can do is to take a pause and begin again. But before we dive in, I want to acknowledge something. If you're watching this video, it's probably something in your life that you're struggling with. Maybe you're questioning whether you should continue with a dream, a job, a relationship, or even your healing journey. Maybe you feel like you're constantly starting over and you're tired. I want to say that I see you. I've been there. And this conversation is for you. I myself had to take about a 2-month break before starting with my YouTube journey again. I myself tried to record a video a couple of times only to realize that it's just not working. Sometimes the light would fail, sometimes the audio would fail, sometimes the video would get corrupted, and then I would face problems with editing. But that is when I realized maybe I should just pause for a bit and not put so much stress that actually makes me happy. If you're facing something similar in your life, just know that you're not alone. I'm there right with you. So let's get into the video and see what the journey of persistence looks like. Let's first address the myth of linear progress. We live in a world that celebrates grind, hustle, and a never give up attitude. Our Instagram is flooded with highlight reels of entrepreneurs who never gave up, the influencer who posted every single day for years, and the artist who never stopped creating. We've convinced ourselves that somehow taking a step back means we're weak, and pausing means that we'll have to start from scratch again, and that any form of rest is giving up. But here's what I've learned from my own journey, and this might challenge everything that you believe to be true up until now. The thing about persistence is not that you never stop, it's that you never stop coming back. I used to think that if I wasn't constantly pushing forward, wasn't always growing, and if I wasn't on all the time, then I was failing. I used to believe that any pause in my momentum meant I was losing ground, and the time that I take to rest and reassess meant that I was admitting defeat. And this is the belief that destroyed me. Because when you operate from this mindset, you never allow yourself to be human. You never allow seasons of rest, reflection, and redirection. And ironically, this is the kind of mindset that prevents us from actually having a sustainable growth which we're all running after. I won't lie, I've been here quite a few times before in my life. I wouldn't allow myself to rest, to reassess if something was going wrong in my life. I was at the top of my career, pursuing the path that I always wanted, and it didn't make me happy somehow. And instead of resting and reassessing on what direction I should take next, I kept pushing myself forward, and as a result of which, it led me to a burnout. And that burnout forced me to take the rest that my body needed. That's when I realized that nature doesn't operate on a constant growth model. Trees don't grow 24/7. They have seasons of growth and seasons of rest. They shed their leaves, go dormant, and then they bloom again, more often more beautiful than they once were before. So, we are not separate from nature, we are nature, and we need to honor our seasons of rest too. So what is the difference between starting again and starting over? When you take a break and come back to something, you're not starting from zero. You are starting from experience. So every attempt you've made, every lesson that you've learned, every failure that you've faced, they don't go away suddenly, right? They become a part of who you are. The muscle memory is there. The skills you developed are still there. The wisdom you've gained, they don't just evaporate the second that you take a break. In fact, break is something that helps you stop and integrate all the lessons that you've learned and come back stronger. Think about it this way. When you learn to ride a bicycle, the moment you fall off, you don't forget how to balance, right? You get back up, you try something better next time, and in a few attempts, you're able to ride that bicycle. So the relationship that ended, you learned about your own patterns, needs, and boundaries. The creative project that you abandoned, that taught you about your own vision, your strengths, and your own process. The key is to consider the past attempts not as failures but as education. That was not time wasted. Consider it to be the tuition fees that you paid for final and eventual success. Now let's talk about hard work and divine timing, because we all know that's very, very important. Now I'm a firm believer that hard work always gets rewarded. Not in the timeline that we have set for us, and definitely not in the ways that we imagine for ourselves. But this is where the magic happens. This is where things get interesting. Where surrender meets effort and faith meets action. Following your purpose, your real purpose, isn't supposed to be easy. If it was, then everybody would be doing it now. So the challenges that you're facing on your path right now, they're not bugs, they are the features on your path. They're supposed to make you stronger, more resilient, and more compassionate towards yourself and others who are struggling. They will make you more equipped to live the life that you're supposed to live. I remember when earlier in my life I used to go through these hardships, I would curse my life. Why is my life so difficult? Why is nobody else facing such things? Why does it have to be me? But I was asking the wrong questions, right? So after I faced these situations a couple of times, I realized that they were actually meant to build my character, because they have made me who I am today. If everything was supposed to work out the way that I had planned as a teenager, I would have been a doctor by now. I didn't. I'm not. But I believe that it all worked out for the best for me. I would not have been this person if that had worked out. And I'm so proud of myself today. And I'm so proud of who I've become today. And it's only because of the hardships that I faced. It doesn't feel great at that moment, but in retrospect, it built my character. So if anybody here is from a small town where all of us wanted to be a doctor and help people out, that was my dream as well. But it didn't work out. What worked out was God's plan for me, and trust me, that was better than my own plan for myself. So I know that I am a hardworking person. I worked very hard throughout my life, and my hard work has been rewarded. Not at all in the ways that I expected, and not in the timing that I expected at all. But I know that I was rewarded. Every sleepless night that I have, every tear that I've shed, it all became worth it. And I'm sure it's gonna be even better from now on. So if you're on this journey, trust me, I'm again on this journey with you, and I just have faith that it's gonna work out, because there is no other way. That is divine timing. It's not about sitting back and waiting for the things to happen for you. No, it's about consistently showing up for yourself, putting in that hard work, and just having faith. All the effort that you've put in has planted the seeds that will bloom when the conditions are right. Trust me when I'm saying this, that when your plans are not working out, it's God's plan that's at work. So whenever you feel like you're lost or you have so many questions, just ask universe, God, whoever you believe in, to just guide you, and you will receive the guidance that you want. If nothing else works out, just put one foot in front of the other and keep going. Sometimes what looks like a detour from your path is actually the right path. Sometimes what feels like delay is actually perfect timing. You will just know it later. Sometimes all you require is patience and faith. So keep doing the hard work and surrender, detach from the outcome. Do your part and trust the process. It will all work out. Now let's talk about faith, now that we've mentioned it so many times. What is faith? It's about believing not just in the higher power, but in your own self, in your journey, and the fact that things will work out. It's not blind optimism. It's not about pretending that everything is fine when it's not. It's not toxic positivity. Faith is showing up and taking that first step on the path that is still not clear to you, knowing that with every step it will get clearer, believing that your struggles have meaning, your efforts matter, you matter. Faith is what allows you to keep going when logic tells you to quit. It's what whispers in your ear, try one more time, when everything around you screams, just give up. It's what helps you see the possibilities when all you see are problems. Faith is why I'm doing this. That is why I'm still sitting here, sharing my journey with you, hoping that it helps some of you guys. All of this discussion that we've had till now brings me to a very important topic, which I believe can get lost in a conversation about persistence. And that is, what is success? We're all obsessed with success, right? But what does it mean to you? It can mean something very different to me as compared to what society's definition of success is. For me, success means I'm able to create wealth easily and not through hustle culture. spending a major part of my day doing my 9 to 5, which basically becomes 9 to 9, does not mean I'm successful. I'm not able to generate wealth easily, not able to spend time with my loved ones. That would not mean that I'm successful. In today's world, we're told that success looks like constant productivity, constantly being busy, maximizing every moment in our lives, hitting every goal, or having a lavish lifestyle. But what if success and fulfillment was something quieter than that? I remember this feeling when I had a burnout from working 7 days a week in extremely long hours. When I hit that burnout, that put things into perspective for me. Because I was working for such a long time, I had become very irritable and very angry as a person. And I would just pick fights with my family just because I had a hard day at work. When I completely had a burnout and rested well and recovered, that was when I realized I already had a fulfilled life. I didn't need to hustle so much in order to feel successful or fulfilled. That was when I visited my friends and family and siblings, and I realized that I have such enriching personal connections. That my worth was not attached to my success. Despite being forced to take that rest by my own body, I've never felt more fulfilled. I've never felt that way when I was hustling away. So let's take a pause and go inside ourselves and ask ourselves what it is that success and fulfillment means to us. Because my path taught me to enjoy the journey and not chase one goal after another and even still be dissatisfied. If you watch this video till the end and you're in a season of struggle, if you're questioning whether you should keep going, if you're having to restart something that you care about, I have something to tell you. Your persistence doesn't need to look like anybody else's. Your timeline is not their timeline, and your journey is uniquely yours, with its own rhythm, lessons, and seasons. And any time that you choose to begin again, whether it's today, tomorrow, or 6 months from now, you're not starting from zero. You're starting with more tools in your toolkit. You are starting with a deeper understanding of yourself and what you want. The world needs you and what you have to offer, not the perfect version of you. They need to see the version of you that struggles, that falls down and gets back up again, that has seen failures. They need to see how you've become the person that you are today. So, what's something that you've had to restart in your life? How are you choosing to show up for yourself every day? Let me know in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. And I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.